Okay, let's get started here tonight. Welcome to the 4th Annual Hall of Fame ceremony. Tonight's ceremony will include the 2023 and 2024 induction class. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy tonight's event. From the 2023 class, we will honor 4 athletes, 1 coach, 1 team, and 1 friend of Bret Harte Athletics. For the 2024 class, we will honor 4 athletes, 1 coach, and 1 friend. We will start the process again in January with nominations. Any person from the Bret Harte community could nominate an athlete, coach, team, or friend of Bret Harte Athletics. After we receive the nominations, we will then have a committee vote to see which nominees would become candidates. After that, another committee will vote to see which candidates would then be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The athletes, coaches, teams, and friends of Bret Harte Athletics that are being inducted here tonight have been chosen for what they did for Bret Harte High School. We will continue to hold the ceremony every other year. There will still be a class of 2025, which will be voted upon next spring, but their ceremony won't be until the following year and will include the class of 2026. Before we get started, I would like to thank all of the people who have helped with the different committees. The screening committee and the voting committee, who found out that this is a very difficult process. Also thanks to this year's gold, silver, and bronze sponsors, which are listed in the program. We also have a form over there. Our gold sponsor is Amber Pape Photography. The silver sponsors are Ron and Diana Lewis, Murphy's Angels Lions Club, Big Trees Market, Bell's Construction, Bank of Stockton, the Murphy's Hotel, Amos Screen Printing, and Middleton's. The bronze sponsors are Chris H. Iwata, Young's Payless IGA, Pinnell's Carpet One, Dick and Carla Roleri, the Clements family, Warren and Cheryl Harbor, Copperopolis Lake Tulloch Lions Club, and the AMA Boosters. I would also like to thank all the people who have helped with tonight's dinner. Cody and Tyra Dragbanovich for the wonderful dinner, Alyssa Follendorf and her home ec students for the desserts, Mrs. Phillips and the Bret Harte FFA Floriculture for the beautiful floral arrangements, Amber Pape Photography, the Calaveras County Archives, and Guy Dossie of the Calaveras Enterprise for allowing us to go through their old newspapers, which helps us with the memory boards. And for those of you who, all the inductees, please take your memory boards with you. And the students who helped create the boards. The boys golf program for setup, dinner assistance, and tonight's breakdown. David Dugan for tonight's light, sound, and video. My final thank you goes to Eilena Greisel, who has done all of the organizing for the event. She has put in many hours making sure tonight's would be special for all. Without her help, this event would not be happening, and that's the big yes. Now I'd like to introduce Bret Harte's athletic, who's not here yet. Brian's supposed to be here to help, but his son's playing in Waterford and Pop Warner, so he's rushing up here probably as we speak. And now for the inductions, I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for tonight's festivities, KSEE Channel 24 Fresno news anchor, Eric Rucker.
He paused before he introduced his son. I thought he was going to forget. He mentioned so many people that made tonight possible. If we can, a round of applause for them real briefly. So thank you all for being here. This is the 4th time we've done this. This is the 4th time that I've had the pleasure to be the MC, and I appreciate you having me back once again. Not that it was any of your choices, but thanks, Dad. So we're going to welcome up people in groups tonight. So I'd like to welcome up the first group and the inductees in group number 1, who you can please take a seat right here. Dusty Bach, Jason Hatchett, Heather Deacon Hawkinson is not here tonight, and then Richard Hogan, please. Our first inductee tonight is Dusty Bach, class of 1989. Dusty played 4 different varsity sports while at Bret Harte, that being football, basketball, track, and baseball. In football, Dusty was a first-team All-League in both his junior at quarterback and his senior year at defensive back. During Dusty's junior year, he completed Nearly 54% of his passes, running for 747 yards during his 2 years, and also caught 4 passes. On defense, Dusty had 7 interceptions. Dusty made honorable mention his senior year in basketball. During his junior year, Dusty won the Motherlode League triple jump, and in his senior year, Dusty was a second-team All-League outfielder on the baseball team. Dusty then went on to Azusa Pacific, where he played 4 years in football. He is 5th all-time in interceptions at Azusa Pacific with 12 and ran back 2 of those for touchdowns. He graduated with a BA in communication. Dusty is married to Melanie, and they have 3 children. Ella, who graduated from Bret Harte this past year and is now attending Belmont University in Nashville. Drew, who is a freshman, and Emily, who will graduate in the class of 2036. Dusty is grateful to his parents for their decision to raise their family in Bret Harte and the community here. He would like to thank all of his coaches, teammates, teachers, and classmates. And with that, I now present to you Dusty Bach.
Thank you very much. The one thing I'm not sure, the college now there's NIL deals. Did we get one for this? Name, image, likeness, because I might want to profit off. No, I'm just kidding. Things were pretty advantageous for me when my parents decided to move here when I was 4. And so my whole life was leading up to going to Bret Harte. I watched as my dad worked at Bret Harte. I fell in love with the school, the teachers. I have 3 siblings, 3 older siblings. I watched them all go through Bret Harte and excel in school and in athletics. And so by the time I got there, I had a lot of excitement, and it did not disappoint. I loved my time at Bret Harte. And I guess the one thing I'll just say, try to keep this brief, is as I've reflected on the 4 years of athletics, there were great coaches at every level, every grade level and every sport. I had great coaches, and I had great teammates. And I take it a step further, the teachers and the classmates, it's just, for me, it's something really special. The place that I love to now have, at least tonight, my name named in the same breath. That means a lot. And to be here with so many of you, many of the inductees and the coaches that are here tonight, you're all very special people to me, and I love you all very much. And so this is a great honor, and yeah, I'm humbled by it, and I'm grateful that I have lifelong friends in this community. So thank you very much.
Our next inductee tonight will be Jason Hatchett, class of 1996. Jason was a 3-sport athlete at Bret Harte. He participated in football, track and field, and in wrestling. In football, Jason played running back and safety. In his senior year, he scored 4 touchdowns on the season. He was also a member of the track team, as I mentioned as well. Wrestling is the sport that Jason excelled in. He won the Motherlode League wrestling meet in 1994, 95, and 96 in the 160-pound class. Also in his senior year, Jason was 4th in the section and qualified for the state tournament. He was also named the John Provart Award winner. Jason was a big part of league championships his sophomore and senior year. During his junior year, Jason won all 3 of his matches as Bret Harte won the section dual championship in Division III. During the 1994-95 school season, Jason was named Tri-County Athlete of the Year. After high school, Jason went to the University of Mary, where he majored in athletic training and was a 2-time All-American wrestler. In 2011, Jason and his 1996-97 team were inducted into the University of Mary Hall of Fame. When Jason graduated, he moved to Virginia, where he has earned a couple of public service awards, most recently in 2021-2022 by Senator Mark Warner for his charity work with the House Inc.'s Hangry Truck and organization for feeding the hungry. Jason now runs a $6 million restaurant in North Virginia. Jason spends his free time with his 13-year-old daughter, Ava, who just made the traveling basketball team. So with that, now please help me with a warm welcome to Jason Hatchett.
I don't know what to say. I'm very humbled by this. This is a long time ago, right? But what I want to say is thank you to, like you said, the teachers and the coaches. I started off in a bad place, did not make the best decisions until I got to high school, and had guidance from Mr. Baldwin, Jan Schultz, other teachers and leaders that guided me into a position to where I can come and go and do these things and help others and feed the needy, which is a testament to what Bret Harte builds on character, more than sports, more than academics, right? So I just want to say thank you to all of you. I really appreciate you.
Our next inductee tonight is Heather Deacon Hawkinson, class of 1986. Unfortunately, Heather was not able to make it to the ceremony this evening, but of course we're going to tell you so much about her. Heather played 3 varsity sports at Bret Harte. She participated in track for 4 years, basketball for 3 years, and played volleyball her junior year. In track, Heather won numerous accolades. In the Motherlode League track meet, she won championships in 3 different events, winning in the 100 meter in 1984 and in 85, the 200 meter in 1983 and 84, and the 300 meter hurdles in 1985 and in 1986. She was also part of the 4x400 relay team that won in 1986. Also in that year, Heather placed 6th in the 300 meter hurdles at the section meet. Heather set a school record in the event and held that record for 16 years. Heather was also a first-team All-League player for her senior year in basketball. That year, Heather was the 2nd leading scorer on an 18-6 team. As a student, Heather maintained a 3.75 GPA and was the student body vice president her senior year. She participated in the American Field Service and lived a year abroad between her years at Bret Harte and UC Davis. She participated on a local track and field team while living in the country of Spain. Heather went on to run track at UC Davis. She ran all 4 years and was team captain for 2 of those. During that time, she ran the 100 meter, 200 meter, 400 meter, and it was part of the 4x100 and 4x400 relay team. Heather was also a member of the conference title team in 1985. Heather graduated from UC Davis in 1991, and with a major in international relations and a minor in Spanish. She worked in international shipping in Los Angeles and in the UK from 1991 to the year 2000. Since that time, she has worked in sales and real estate, but mainly focused on raising her 3 sons, Jake, Mitchell, and Deacon. Heather currently lives in Jupiter, Florida with her husband and sons. She's a realtor, volunteers at Furry Friends, and competes on a dragon boat team. Please join me in a round of applause for the introduction of Heather Deacon Hawkinson. Now to our final inductee in the first group of 4 tonight, and that being Rich Hogan, class of 1985. Rich played in 3 sports while at Bret Harte. He played basketball on the varsity for 2 years and also lettered in track as a junior and baseball his senior year. In basketball, Rich made first-team All-League his junior year. Then, as a senior, he was the co-most outstanding player of the Motherlode League. Rich and his teammates went on to win the section title as Rich was named the section MVP of the tournament. His senior year, he was also on the All-Northern California team and was first-team All-District. During his senior year, Bret Harte played in the Winnemucca tourney, where Rich was named MVP of the tournament. He also averaged 18.4 points per game, including a 40-point game. Against Linden, Rich had a 29-point, 13-rebound game. For his varsity career, Rich went 46-7. After Bret Harte, Rich went on to Chico State, where he was named team MVP twice, the MVP of the Mac Martin tourney in 1989, and was also first-team All-League in the Northern California Athletic Conference in 1989 and 1990. He was a leading rebounder in 1989 and 1990 in the NCAC and ranked 15th in the nation at 11.1 rebounds per game, also in 1989. Rich was on the all-academic first team for the 1989-90 season and was inducted into the Chico State Hall of Fame in 2003. After Chico, Rich went into education. He has been a teacher and coach at the junior college, high school, and youth levels. Rich retired and was living in Arkansas, but has returned and is teaching science at Mark Twain. Rich is married to Kay Payton, and they have 6 children: RJ, Drew, Alyssa, Jackson, Morgan, and Webster. And with that, please let me welcome Rich Hogan.
All right, first and foremost, Jerry and the committee, thank you very much. I know it's a lot of work to put this on, and I feel very honored by this. Thank you, and congratulations to all the rest of the inductees. As I thought about this a lot, the thing that kept coming into my head was how fortunate I was to grow up in this community, on this mountain, and attend Bret Harte High School. I can't think of any place that would have been a better fit for me. I was fortunate to have a mom who was really into service and giving, and started the swim team in Murphy's, helped start soccer in Murphy's, was a cheer advisor, hospice, Rotary, all kinds of things, and she kind of instilled that in us. And so I thank her for that. She can't be here tonight, but thank you, Mom, for that. As Dusty said, the community at Bret Harte, terrific community, and I feel the measure of a school is if you feel like it was a community when you were there, and that's what I felt like. The teachers were together, and everybody was trying to lift us up as a group and make, you know, good adults out of us, and they did a good job with that. And it was a family there, and I have the fondest memories of Bret Harte High School. My first basketball experience was with Mike Lewis, who you'll see later. And I recall walking into the gym wide-eyed, and he said, "Do you want to try out for the JV team?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well," he started rolling the ball, and he said, "We'll see how much skin you leave on the gym floor diving for these balls, and that'll tell me how bad you want to play basketball." And so that was my introduction into our basketball there. Our whole team was out diving around the floor. Great coach, Mike. Thank you. Also, another person I'd like to mention is Phil Stock, who we'll hear about tonight. Phil was instrumental in my life. He was involved a lot with the music and gave me my first job out of high school. And I just remember the joy he had for life and for other people. And so that's another person I'd like to mention. Ron Lewis, Jan Schultz, people like Tom Ising, who gave me my first basketball in 4th grade. And I'd like to also talk about, I have a couple teammates here, Jim Curran, Keith Rockensaw, Scott Thompson, all showed up tonight. Great people. And then I'd like to finally just say, that I was a person who needed mentorship when I was a young man, and I got it from all these people I'm talking about, and mostly Rich Cathcart. Spent a lot of time teaching me how to behave in the gym, and more time teaching me how to behave outside the gym, and kind of gave us those lessons in life that, some of them you learn right away, some of them you learn a little later in life. But as I've gone through life, I've just learned how fortunate I was to be in this community, surrounded by these people that really, I felt like really cared about me as a person and had lifelong effect on me. So I'm very honored and humbled by this. Thank you very much to everybody, and congratulations to the rest of the people here.
All right, that concludes our group 1 of inductees. One more round of applause. All right, so group 2, can I have these inductees or their representatives please come up? That being Phil Stock, Mike Lewis, Dave Cosgrave, and Jerry Rucker. I've decided I actually want to see the scripts that I'm reading. All right, our first inductee in group number 2 tonight will be Phil Stock, friend of Bret Harte Athletics. Music and athletics have gone hand in hand since the beginning of competitive sports. A national anthem played at the beginning or end of an event, a fight song played to ignite a crowd and inspire the home team, or an alma mater played by the band to unite fans and athletes as one. It is in this spirit and love for athletics that we honor Phil Stock as a friend of Bret Harte Athletics. Phil started at Bret Harte as a music director in 1972, and he ran the department until the late 90s. As the program expanded, you would see the Bret Harte Marching Band in full dress uniform performing the Star-Spangled Banner before home football games. A pep band would play at school rallies and very often travel to various away games for football and basketball, even following the 1985 section basketball team to Tokay and then to Chico. A favorite story is Phil showing up to home baseball games with the pep band. If he were here today, I bet he would bring a pep band to even water polo matches. You might remember Phil wearing the iconic purple wig and leading the band at different spirit events with his purple and gold plunger, or dressing up as a Swami Stock to predict the outcome of football games. Phil was always there to help with school pride. Phil passed in August of 2019. He was married to Marge, and they had 2 children, Jennifer and Greg, and we are pleased to present Marge, Jennifer, and Greg on behalf of Phil to receive this award.
Phil loved his job. He loved Bret Harte. I think it was his living dream. So I'm very grateful. I'm very happy that he's being honored tonight. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, guys. Our next inductee tonight is Mike Lewis, coach. Mike graduated from Fresno State in 1973 and came back to Angels Camp, where he began his teaching and coaching career. His first 6 years were at Mark Twain Elementary, where he coached and was part of the 7th and 8th grade teaching staff. He began his teaching and coaching career at Bret Harte in 1980, where he was part of the Science and Social Studies departments and also taught freshman orientation. In 1996, he moved into administration and was a learning director until his retirement in 2004. At Bret Harte, he coached Frosh Soft Girls basketball for 5 years, where he won 4 Motherlode League championships. He was an assistant varsity football coach for 8 years, JV boys basketball coach for 9 years, and had 3 Motherlode League championships. He also coached JV softball for 2 years and Frosh football for 1 year. He became the varsity girls basketball coach in 1993 and coached the team for a total of 11 years and won the Motherlode League championship every year. His overall MLO record was 146 wins and 4 losses. His teams had 2 winning streaks of 56 and 53 games. His teams were in the Sac Joaquin Section Division IV playoffs for all 11 years. In the postseason, his teams were section runner-ups 3 times, semifinalists 4 times, and quarterfinalists 3 times. In his 25-year career of coaching basketball at Bret Harte, he had 18 Motherlode League championships. In any sport that he coached, Mike would go above and beyond the normal coaching duties and responsibilities to help his athletes reach their highest potential. Mike is married to Susie, and they have 2 daughters, Becky and Bridget. I now present to you Mike Lewis.
There's not enough light up here. The older you get, the less you remember, so I've got mine written down, so I apologize for that. And there's a number of people I need to acknowledge. Anyway, I'll go with mine. I'd like to thank or talk about the people and groups that made it possible for me to be up here tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank my family for supporting me my entire coaching career and understanding, I think they understood the time commitment it takes to do a good job to be a coach. My wife Susie, my daughters Becky and Bridget. Susie took control of the home front, kept our family organized while I was coaching and teaching. Before taking over the girls' basketball program, I worked with and under some incredible coaches and mentors. Hal Clements, Don Villela in football, Rich Cathcart, Jerry Rucker, Jan Edwards in basketball, and Bill Hutchinson in softball. At Mark Twain, where I first started my teaching and coaching career, I worked with Dave Cosgrave, who was both my mentor in teaching and coaching. Three important things I learned from them: be organized with a season plan, a daily plan, a practice plan, and a game plan. Make practices meaningful, make them hard, make them competitive, and make them fun. Be a good communicator, not only with the players, but with the parents. Let them know what was going on so they could plan ahead. A big reason I'm up here tonight was because of my varsity assistant coach, Rick Sirocco. We grew up together in Angels Camp. We were in the same class. We were friends. We ran around together. We played sports together. And we got in some trouble together. We both eventually got into coaching. Before Rick began helping me at Bret Harte, he was a longtime successful girls and basketball coach at Mark Twain. We both had our strengths as coaches and respected each other's abilities. I gave Rick the important job of subbing players in and out of the games. He took it seriously. He had a plan for every game and every game situation. I let him do his job, and he was excellent at it. We were a great team working together in both practices and games. My JV and Frosh coaches, Paul Movey, Steve Kohler, and Tim Randall, were all excellent coaches. They were committed, they were enthusiastic, they were knowledgeable, they were good teachers, communicators, and motivators, and they all were very successful. Players that moved up to the varsity from them were ready for varsity competition. Another reason I'm up here was because of what was happening at our feeder schools at Mark Twain, Copper, Michelson, Hazel Fisher, and Avery. I want to give a shout out to all of those coaches. During my tenure, most of those coaches were on the school staff as teachers or aides, maintenance workers, custodians. They coached year after year, which provided continuity to the players and programs. They coached both boys and girls teams. They provided character development with commitment, discipline, sportsmanship, and respect for the game. Another reason for our success was because of our summer program. We played a lot of games in the summer, usually between 25 and 30. Usually our summer season lasted about 5 weeks. We practiced 1, sometimes 2 days a week. The players enjoyed playing in the summer. We played in the Delta College League and some tournaments in the Valley and Sacramento area. But we always ended our season going to the 4-day South Lake Tahoe Summer Jamboree. There was usually 60-plus teams that were there from throughout California and some from Oregon and Washington. We rented a house for 4 days, and some of the moms of the players stayed in the house every year, did all the organization, planning, food, and ran the house. We all, it was a great place to go, and all the parents and grandparents and friends came, and it was a fun place to be. We all went out to dinner, Harvey's or Harris, together. It was a good way to end our summer, and it was not only great competition, but it was a good chance for our players to live together, get to know each other better, bond, get some chemistry, and it was good for me to get and Rick to get to know parents better. And it was fun. Another reason for our success was because of the parents' commitment and involvement. They helped with team events, fundraisers, transportation. They opened up their homes for team dinners, provided the food. They were always available for anything that needed to be done. Obviously, the most important reason I'm up here is because of the players. Every year, we always had some excellent players and leaders, a lot of very good athletes who were motivated, competitive, and dedicated. They loved playing basketball. They didn't like to lose. They enjoyed playing our up-tempo style of play, pressing full court, running and fast break at every opportunity. They liked us to be organized every day with a practice plan that pushed them to improve their skills and to get in excellent physical condition. They were committed to never missing practices or games or playing during the summer season, to being a team and always putting we before me. Doing their very best in the classroom, the goal was for everybody to make the honor roll. And in my 11 years, I don't remember anybody not making the honor roll. Most of them were on the all-academic team, but at that time was 3.5 or better. And they were taking hard classes. They were taking Schultz's American Studies class and physiology and trig and physics and calculus. Rick used to help them on the bus. And they took advantage of each other's strengths. They all had their own basketball strengths that contributed to our team's success. I was blessed to be surrounded and supported by all these people and groups, and they are all a big reason why I'm up here receiving this honor. And I'm extremely grateful to all of them. It was an honor and a privilege to be a small part of the lives of all the players and teams I ever coached. Thank you.
Even your paperclip mic is purple.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. All right, our next inductee tonight is Dave Cosgrave, a friend of Bret Harte Athletics. Dave Cosgrave graduated from Bret Harte in 1960. During his time in school, he played basketball all 4 years, baseball for 2 years, and track for 1 year. He started teaching at Mark Twain in 1969. He stayed at Mark Twain, where he taught the self-contained class, math, PE, and in his final years, he was at the community day school until he retired in 2003. In 2006, when the Mark Twain Gym was built, the school named it the David N. Cosgrave Gymnasium. While at Mark Twain, Dave coached many different sports such as basketball, track, flag football, and cross country. He coached many athletes that came and participated at Bret Harte, including many athletes inducted in the Bret Harte Hall of Fame, who began their love and dedication toward athletics while being coached or mentored by Mr. C. Mr. C, of course, as he was known by his students, also helped to coach football with the Hal Clements in 1969-70 season and Frosh football team in 1977. He scouted for the Bret Harte football and girls basketball teams. He would also help officiate some Frosh basketball and softball games when the school needed help in that. Outside of school, Mr. C worked on his mom's ranch. He loves ball games and going to track meets. Dave is married to Mary Jane. And now, with that, please give me a warm welcome to Mr. C.
Hey, thank you. I was surprised by this, and I do appreciate it. When when you look at, especially Lewis and I, and probably some others, we're kind of like from another time in a way. Because when I think about myself, I was raised on a ranch a little ways out of Angels, and I was kind of a nerd. When I grew up, I was as a little guy, as a sports, listening to in those days when we got our news on the magazines or you had your ear pressed up against the radio, listening to the 49ers play or the San Francisco Seals or somebody else. But anyway, sports was kind of my social thing, and I was a little bit on the outside, I think, socially. I got to high school, and in the senior class were Ray Barnett and Ron Lewis and Laddie O'Connor. And number one, they competed. I watched them compete. They were really good competitors. They worked hard. They were good athletes. Didn't win everything. None of us ever won everything. But they were also into the sports stuff. And when they realized that I knew a little bit about, who was playing for Stanford or Cal or whatever it was, they talked. They were nice guys, and so they didn't intimidate you. But as a little guy, they were really great role models, and I'm sure they had a little effect on me, because I really enjoyed watching them play and compete. When I started at Mark Twain, I think Mr. Clements had been there a year before me, or else we started at the same time. I really can't remember now, but Hal was very good with me, and he pointed me in some directions. When you get a teaching job, you never know quite where you're. All I know is a principal told me, "You be in charge of sports," and I'm sure it happened with a lot of other guys in this room. You never knew that they were going to they'd be such a big part of your life as they were. They were important to teach in school, and I think they represent a little about the health of a school. If the athlete, you can't stress it too much, but I think it's important. The other programs are all important too, for the outside stuff, the farmers, the music, art, the whole thing. But the sports programs are important, and I think the competition, I think the competing and learning to lose and prepare and going back and struggling, I think that stuff is still important, and I think we get away from it a little bit today. I'm familiar with a number of the coaches at Bret Harte who are still there, and I think that the ones they're good coaches, and I think that they believe in what I believe in, as far as the importance of learning to win and lose and prepare and struggle and correct your mistakes. Anyway, hey, I really appreciate being recognized here, and before I leave, I want to thank my wife, who's put up with me a long time. And it hasn't always been easy, because we did have a certain amount of fun along the way too. I have to say that, and it wasn't all work. But anyway, hey, thanks a lot, and I appreciate this.
What a beautiful smile it is. All right, our next and final inductee in group number 2 tonight is Jerry Rucker, coach. Jerry started his teaching career at Pierce High School in Arbuckle in 1980. He came to Bret Harte in 1984. During his 35 years at Bret Harte, he taught the Frosh computer skills class for a majority of the years. For the last few years, besides teaching, he was the athletic director before he retired in 2019. During his time at Bret Harte, he coached football, basketball, baseball, and softball. In football, he was an assistant and head coach for the JV and an assistant for the varsity. In 1999, he was the assistant coach under Gordon Sadler that won the league championship and also defeated Calaveras that year. He assisted in softball at the JV and varsity level. Jerry was the head baseball coach in 1989. In basketball, he assisted with Rich Cathcart for the 84-85 section championship team. He then coached the Frosh for 4 years, where he won 2 Motherlode League championships, JV for 10 years, then where he won 7 championships in league, and varsity for 13 years. They won championships at the varsity level in 2001 and 2012. He also coached the girls basketball team for 2 years. Today, in retirement, he is the Motherlode League commissioner and assists with Brian Barnett's varsity basketball team. Jerry also likes to research the history of Bret Harte sports and the Motherlode League, leaving my mom alone for 5 minutes at a time, and she's appreciative. Jerry is married to Sue, and they have 3 children, myself, Kim, and Kevin. They also have 6 grandchildren, with the 7th due in a couple of days, none of which are mine. I now present to you Jerry Rucker.
It is an honor to be inducted into the Bret Harte Hall of Fame as a coach. I have coached at Bret Harte for the last 40 years and have enjoyed every moment. I would like to thank all of the players that I have coached over these years. Each team carried its own personality, and I hope that I taught you as much as I learned about you from you. All of my teams, whether we won or lost, had many special moments. To all the coaches that I worked with, again, thank you for all your help and support. To Rich Cathcart, who guided me in my early years in basketball and football. To Gordon Sadler, who I coached with for many years in football. To Bill Wade, who was my assistant in basketball for many years. And to Clayton Carpenter, who ran the JV program while I was varsity basketball coach. And to all the other coaches that I have had the opportunity to work with. Finally, I want to thank my family. To my children, thank you for dealing with a dad that was coaching in multiple sports. I want to thank my daughter, Kim, for being my JV coach for 2 years when I did the girls basketball. And my 2 boys, Eric and Kevin, I enjoyed the years that you played basketball for me. Kim, sorry for not being at your senior night for basketball. I was down at Linden with the boys, but thanks, Kevin, for taking my spot. Lastly, to my wife, Sue, thank you for your patience. I know it wasn't easy, especially when the kids were younger, but you have always supported me, and that is why I love you so much. Again, thank you. It is truly an honor to be inducted.
That's my line. All right, group 2, you can now go take your seats again as we get ready to welcome up the 3rd of 4 groups tonight. All right, so now introducing, as we mentioned, the 3rd of 4 groups tonight. Can these inductees and or the representatives, if in any case needed, come up and take seats right here. Shauna Shires Santangelo, Dean Laga Morosino, Dick Middleton, and Nikos Phipps. Correct research department. All right, so to start us off with the 3rd group tonight, that being Shauna Shires Santangelo, class of 2007. Shauna was a 4-sport athlete while at Bret Harte. She played volleyball, softball, and basketball, and was a member of the track team. In volleyball, she was the libero and earned a second-team All-League her junior year and was a first-team player her senior year. As a varsity softball player, her junior year, she batted .447 and made first-team All-League. In basketball, Shauna was part of 3 Motherlode League championships. In her sophomore year, she made honorable mention. As a junior, she was first team, and as a senior, she was named co-MVP. She was also named to the all-defensive team her senior year. Shauna is 3rd in steals and 4th in assists on the all-time girls basketball list. In track, she was a long jumper, triple jumper, and sprinter. At the Motherlode League meet her senior year, she won the long jump and was a member of the 4x100 team that placed first. Shauna was also named the Bret Harte Female Athlete of the Year for the 26-27 school year by the Calaveras Enterprise. After high school, Shauna went to Orange Coast College in Southern California and continued to play basketball. After completing 2 years there, she went to San Luis Obispo and attended the California Holistic Institute and became a licensed massage therapist and found her passion for CrossFit. Nearly 12 years later, she is still practicing massage. Shauna has been able to work with a wide variety of clients, from professional athletes, oncology, and special needs. She currently resides in Boise, Idaho, where she coaches CrossFit at Snake River CrossFit. Shauna is married to Vinny. They have a newborn daughter, Solivale, and was born back in August. And we cannot forget her best furry boy ever, that being Duncan. Now please welcome Shauna Shires Santangelo.
Check. Hi. Good evening. Mr. Lewis, thank you for your speech. It brought back a lot of memories that I have forgotten, so that was really nice. I didn't know you and Mr. Rucker went back so far. It makes a lot of sense. All right. Hi, everyone. I am so honored to be here tonight, but I do feel like this is a little bit more of a punishment than a reward, making me come up here and give a speech. When I first found out I was getting inducted, I was about 7 months pregnant and didn't anticipate being here. But my mom kind of took the reins and made it happen. It took me a while to figure out what to say, but I realized that my memory is trash, and there's just a couple simple things that I need to mention. If you haven't heard, I have 2 older sisters. They have pretty much paved the path to where I am today. I watched them as a little girl play the sports that I became better at than them. And they've always been my biggest inspiration, and I'm lucky to be their baby sister. I often think about back when I would play basketball at home. My dad would come home from 10 to 12-hour work days and just come and play in the backyard with me. We would talk a little trash, push and shove each other, and I would always kick his butt. And then there's my mom, who would do anything. For us, she would drive us halfway across the country to get us to our sporting events, always carried herself with a positive attitude, and didn't complain about how far we had to go or how late we would get home, as far as I'm aware. And she is a real hero and deserves her own Hall of Fame award for that. But some of my fondest memories at Bret Harte were our team dinners. Oftentimes they happened at Mr. Lewis's house. Talking about cute boys from a rivalry school that I'm not going to mention, and leaving school early to take bus rides to our playoff games. I feel sorry for my coaches that had to be in the same vehicle as me and my teammates. We were very funny. Thanks to my coaches, thanks to my family, and thanks for choosing me. This has been the best year of my life, and this is a cherry on top. Go Bullfrogs.
And she'll be better than you someday. All right, our next inductee for this year is Dean Lagomarsino, class of 1955. Dean was a four-sport athlete at Bret Harte. He participated in football, basketball, baseball, and track. Dean played on the varsity football team his junior and senior year. He was a member of the 1953 co-championship football team. In 1954, he was an honorable mention running back. He also had a 5 TD game against the Vallejo Reserves. For track, as a junior, Dean won the 100-yard dash in the small school track meet in the Class B division. Athletes were placed in class sizes by size and weight at that time. He was also a second in the broad jump. In the section meet, Dean was a second in the 100. In his senior year, he was second in the 220 at the small schools track meet. Dean was a standout baseball player. In both his junior and senior year, he participated in the North-South MLL All-Star game. As a senior, he was a member of the 1955 Tri-Championship team. His senior year, he was the shortstop and had numerous multi-hit games. As a basketball player, Dean was the point guard and averaged 5 points per game. Dean was the vice president of the senior class, earned a Bank of America award his senior year in the field of fine arts, earned athletic awards in football, baseball, and track at the Bret Harte Assembly. His senior year, Dean was also in the band. Dean became a teacher at Mark Twain Elementary from 1964 to 1968, where he taught 4th grade for 3 years and 7th and 8th grade for a year. While at Mark Twain, he also helped coach JV football and baseball at Bret Harte. He then moved on to work at the California Youth Authority as a youth counselor, then to the DeWitt Nelson Training Center as a PE and recreation instructor. He retired in 2001, spending the last 21 years at the OH Close School as a teacher of all subjects and a counselor. Dean has 2 children, Karen and Mike, from a previous marriage, and he has 3 children, Mark, Matt, and Margie, with his wife, Nee. He also has 9 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. We did lose Dean back in 2020, so we're here to accept, for Dean Lagomarsino is his daughter, Karen Keith. And brother.
Thank you. And like we said, sadly, we lost my dad 4 years ago, but my brother and I are here to accept his award in his behalf. We want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for acknowledging our dad, and I know he would be honored if he was here tonight. Thank you.
Congratulations. Our next inductee this evening is Dick Middleton, class of 1967. Dick was a 3-sport athlete at Bret Harte, playing football, basketball, and baseball. In football, Dick got 3 touchdowns in a game versus Houston. He is also tied for 3rd all-time with 7 career TD receptions. In 1966, he was a first-team All-League wide receiver and also named one of the team's most valuable players. In basketball, Dick played forward and was one of the top rebounders. As a baseball player, Dick was one of the top hitters. Ron Lewis, his coach, said that Dick set an example by giving 100% and always encouraged others to do their best. For the 1966-67 school year, Dick was the student body president. He is also a lifetime CSF member. After high school, Dick went on to play football in 1968 at Sacramento City College as a wide receiver. After Sac City, he enrolled at the University of Pacific Pharmacy School in 1969 and walked on to their football team. He redshirted that year, and then in 1970, he switched from receiver to defense. He played a defensive back that year and received a full scholarship. The next year, Dick moved to defensive end and started several games. At UOP, he completed the 6-year program to earn his Doctor of Pharmacy degree. Dick then worked as a retail pharmacist for the next 40-plus years in the Bay Area and in Stockton. Dick married Mary in 1979 and have enjoyed 45 years together. They have 2 children, Matthew and Jody. He has 6 grandchildren as well. Now please help me welcome Dick Middleton.
First, I want to thank Mike Lewis for wearing glasses and having notes, too. I thought I was going to be the only one. Mike was a senior when I was a freshman, so we've always looked up to him. I would like to thank the committee for this honor. It really surprised me, believe me. We've been out of high school a long time. And Jerry Rutger for the very, very nice opening statement. Appreciate that. I'd also like to give a shout out to our coaches in those days. Vince Longo was our JV coach. He coached football, basketball, and baseball. Basically gave us our introduction to football. There was no football before high school when we were in school. That's when you started to play. Baseball, we did Little League. Thank you, Mr. Cosgrave, for being a coach for me. And in basketball at Mark Twain. The varsity football coach, Ron Lewis, thank you, Mr. Lewis. He was our coach for football, basketball, and baseball for the last years. Coming out of a small school like Bret Harte, we had less than 200 kids when I graduated because they bused all the kids past us up the hill, went over to Calaveras. I always wondered if we would be able to play at a larger school. And it turns out there wasn't really any problem. Eddie Barnett, Rich Cathcart, and myself were all in the same class. We went down to Sacramento City College. We all made the football team. We all lettered. It was very good. And I think that we owe our high school coaches that gave us the incentive to work hard, play as a team, and that's the only reason we got to made it further than we did, because Eddie, I know, went on and played at Humboldt State, too. And the one thing I remember from school is Coach Lewis had a motto in our locker room. It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the dog and it's the size of the fight and the dog. And I've kind of lived by that, and I think it's a good one to remember. Thank you very much.
All right, now to our final inductee in group number 3 tonight, and that being Nikos Phipps, class of 1984. Nikos participated in 3 sports while at Bret Harte. He was on the football, wrestling, and track teams. In football as a senior, Nikos was voted MLL Lineman of the Year, and the team won the league championship in 1983. Nikos participated in the Lions All-Star Game and was named Defensive and Most Inspirational Player of that game. He wrestled on the varsity team his senior year and was voted team captain and was the Motherlode League 200-pound champion in 1983 and 185 pounds in 1984. He ran varsity track his sophomore, junior, senior years. He was part of the MLL first place 4x100 relay team all 3 years and placed second in the 100 meters his senior year. He was also the school rally commissioner and the Rotary Male Student of the Year. After high school, he attended Chico State University, receiving his BA in International Relations with a minor in Military Studies. Joined the Army in ROTC in 1987 and was commissioned as the Second Lieutenant Military Police Corps in 1989. He served in the Army for 22 years. He was assigned to many duty stations around the world, to include 2 combat tours in Iraq in 1990 and 2004. He retired in 2010, became a stay-at-home dad, classroom partner, cheer coach, field trip parent, and team snack provider. He is here with his lowly wife, Shauna, who happens to be a Calaveras graduate, no judgment, of 31 years. They have 3 children. Their son, Wyatt, 20, Cheyenne's 22, and Savannah's 24. And with all of that, please please allow me to give a warm welcome to Nikos Phipps.
Yes. Is this on? Yes, I was a cheer coach. Cheer moms are vicious. That's probably the hardest thing I ever did. I did not realize that there's rules about earrings you can wear and can't have any sparkle. It seemed like every time I was there, they would, the cheerleaders would show up with those items on, and I had no idea because I wasn't paying attention. I just wanted them to go out there and cheer. So, very interesting times. Dollar loved it, so that was worthwhile. I'd like to thank the nomination committee. I'd like to thank Jerry Middleton and Jan Schultz for nominating me. I'd like to thank my wife for attending this with me. And yes, she did graduate Calaveras, but that's good. It's Calaveras County, one family. One thing I've noticed tonight seems to be the athletes from the 80s. We all kind of have we needed some direction. And this is my story. My sophomore year during the big game against Calaveras, I lost my mind and I attacked a referee. As a result of that, I was banned from playing football for the rest of the year. And I believe Ron Lewis actually helped me not become permanently banned from the CIF. So I kind of skated around that one. Come that spring, I was involved in an incident here at the fair that's for years was known as the Brawl. And that's all I'll tell you about that one. That summer, while wrestling camp, I may have drank a little too much. I also got in some shenanigans and got thrown out of camp. This was a Von Hitchcock camp at the time, big deal. Coach Schultz was friends with Von Hitchcock, big embarrassment. Lucky for me, he talked him into letting me stay. So I did not realize at the time what that meant, but I was able to go and finish the camp. That fall, I lost my driver's license due to reckless driving, and I deserved to lose my license. A mere 5 months after getting my driver's license. I could go into detail about that, but I deserved to lose it. So one day, middle of football season, I'm in a class with Mr. Onito. It's almost lunchtime. He goes, you need to go up to the coach's office. So I go up there and I walk in, and there's Coach Clements, who at the time was athletic director, football coach, track coach. Jan Schultz, wrestling coach, and also a close family friend. And Coach V, Mr. Valola, who is the football coach, wrestling coach, and track coach, and also my neighbor. As I walk in, and this, I'll give you the short version. They pretty much laid the law on the line. They said, Nikos, if you keep going down this road, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to participate in sports anymore. But if you change your ways, put your nose at the grindstone, you could be one of the successful ones. And here I stand tonight. And for those coaches, I thank you. On a side note, of the 12 championships we could have won, league championships while I was in high school, we won 11 of those. So for the coaches who are here, thank you for that. And I thank you for caring and keeping us on the right track. That's it.
A big round of applause for this group of inductees tonight. So we have one more group for you this evening, and specifically this group is a team. Can we please bring up the 1994-95 wrestling team? When the team is greater than the number of chairs provided, you know it was an amazing team. Entering the 94-95 season, the Bret Harte wrestling team had high hopes for a successful season as they were the defending Mother Lode League dual champs and Mother Lode League tournament champions. The season started with a couple of dual meet wins against Escalon and Lincoln. They then went to the Dixon Invitational dual meet and went 10-0, defeating the favorite Folsom team 31-23. After that, they opened the league with a 62-9 win over Somerville. At the Livingston dual meet tournament, Bret Harte won 7-0 to win that tourney. After Christmas, Bret Harte hosted the Provart Invite and won their own tournament. Bret Harte continued to win the Mother Lode League dual matches that they were in. They also won the Hattler tournament in Sonora, and they tied for second in the Lloyd Angle tournament in Escalon. This set up the final match of the regular season with Calaveras. Bret Harte won the match 31-19 to become the Mother Lode League dual meet champs. On February 4th, Bret Harte hosted the Division III Section Dual Meet Championships. Bret Harte won their opening match, defeating Colfax 51-12. In the semis, Bret Harte defeated Escalon 42-21, while Calaveras then subsequently upset Houston 27-26, and this set up a rematch with Calaveras. Calaveras in that rematch jumped out to an early lead. Bret Harte came from behind to defeat Calaveras 29-27 and win the Division III championship. The team finished with a record of 31-2. Members of the team include Eddie Ramirez, Peter Porter, Matt Ashwandon, Ishmael Ramirez, Cody Grimes, Andy Reese, Richard Davidson, Jeff Mares, A.C. Barnes, Brent Easton, Dan Marchand, Jay Kewish, John Adams, Jason Hatchett, and Seth Cowan. The team was coached by Jan Scholes and assisted by Jerry Middleton. JV coaches were Ken Baldwin and Cliff Sansop. Now, please let us honor the 1994-95 Bret Harte Wrestling team.
The Bret Harte Wrestling team is right up here. And Kenny, will you come up here for just a second? He's got something. We're more than a team, we're a family.
All right, so I have the honor to announce these guys. This wonderful team. Jan gave me this honor. In other words, at 3:30 this afternoon, he called me up and said, here's what we're going to do. And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. So he gave me the honor to be able to announce these guys, the guys that are here, and their weights. Yes. Jim Beck. Jim Beck. 103, believe it or not. Andy Reese. 103, believe it or not. Cody Grimes, 112, still 112. Ishmael Ramirez, 119. Also 119, Tommy Sage. 135, Eddie Ramirez. Big boys, 160, Jason Hatchett. You still 160? 171's Josh Adams. Looking good, Josh. 189's Jay Kewish. And our big guy, Seth Cowan. 94-95 team.
Thank you, Coach. We consider ourselves not just a team, but a family. And we are going to honor two people here tonight. I'm going to ask Jimmy Beck to come up first and speak about Don.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me good? First of all, I'd like to thank Bret Harte Athletics for honoring us tonight. And I also would like to congratulate all the inductees tonight. It's a great honor to be here. I was asked by Jan about 10 minutes ago to talk and about my sister, and I was thinking there's three words that come to my mind when I think of her. First of all, she was a fighter, and the second word is she was a pistol. And you had to cover your ears because you might hear the F-bomb 10 times when you talk to her, and she had no fear of saying that. And the third word is a lover. She was a loving mother of 4 wonderful boys, and to tie into fighting, she fought breast cancer for 10 years and finally succumbed to it in 2022. But she would be very honored to be here tonight and be a part of this team and do the fight that you guys did in high school. She always bragged to my father coming home from the matches that she was the best record keeper Bret Harte ever had. And thank you for letting me say a few things.
Thank you, Jimmy. Eddie Ramirez is going to talk about the team captain.
It's an honor to be up here tonight with everybody, all family, Calaveras County. Jeff Perez, he was our team captain. I just knew him as my senior year. He was a good captain. He showed us how to be grateful and be happy with each other. He always had a smile on his face. I just found out this year that he passed away. And we just had a good time out there being together and as family, and we supported one each other. And I'm happy to be up here and being with all you after almost 29 years. It seems like it was just yesterday. I thank the Bret Harte High School, the athletic team for having us up here, and I'm happy for Coach Schultz, as a great coach, and our coaches that helped us out throughout the year of 94, 95. And a lot of sweat that we put into it paid off for all individuals and as a team. And I'm real happy that I was part of this team. And thank you for being up here.
Thank you, Eddie. All right. I want to start off with a big thank you to Jerry and Elena and the Hall of Fame committee for all their hard work and organization for tonight's dinner and awards. It's just an honor to have all that. I'd like to share with you the qualities of this incredible team. They didn't always have 3.5s in their grade book. Some of them would have to spend time in my classroom for extra study hall. But they did that because they were hardworking. They were talented and skilled, very skilled. Their defining quality was their work ethic. They were unafraid to work hard and keep going. I don't know if that's still in the world. I really worry about that. And I think some of my coaching friends out there might agree with me. These guys were not afraid to work hard. And they did work hard. They also knew how to have fun. And they had fun. Sometimes Coach Middleton and I had to kind of watch them carefully. And there's other stories about that Jerry and I someday should share about some of those little characters. Is that right, Jerry? There's one, I could go on for a while at the section finals when we were down and we had to come from behind. And the way they would have fun, like Josh Adams thought it'd be fun to, instead of just immediately pinning the guy that would lock up the win for us, he decided it'd be more fun to drag him across the mat and pin him in front of his team. So the kind of guys we have there. The team had a tough, dedicated wrestler in every one of the 13 weight classes. You went against Bret Harte, you were in a battle in every weight class. There was no weight class, no holes in that lineup, just solid one after another. They never lost to a California team. Their only defeats were to Sunnyside High School from Arizona, and that's the one that we could still talk about because we don't think we really lost that one, and Napa High School from Idaho at the prestigious Las Vegas wrestling tournament. They're the only times that they tasted defeat, and both of them are very close matches. Their record was 31-2. To close, as all these coaches do, we have practice cards and stuff, and I kept mine for over the years. In fact, what I did is I passed them out so some of these guys could see the cards, because they remember those cards from back in the day. And in those cards, when I would get home after practice, I would sit down and I would evaluate our practice. And what I decided to do, this is again, like yesterday, to be honest with you guys, I was looking at the cards and I said, okay, we'll go with that. I decided I would share with them 5 practices before sections. I hope I don't hurt anyone's feelings. I hope I don't. I hadn't read these in 30 years, boys, 30 years. And I brought the cards out and I go, oh my goodness. So are you ready for this? All right, here we go. 5 practices before the section championship. All right, all right, here we go. Monday, January the 30th, 8:10 p.m. That's me at home at 8:10. I'm writing out this for a practice schedule. Evaluation. Good, tough, no screw around practice. AC Barnes' ribs are banged up. Elijah is sick. Big Seth brought in his guitar to try and sing Cool Water. He's not a very good singer, but he is lovable. Coach Middleton wants more takedown practice on Tuesday. Dan Michon is looking pretty good. Poor young Andy Reese is getting his ass kicked in practice. Our lightweights are mean. I need to talk to Matt Oshwan and Peter Porter about that crap. They got to knock it off. That damn Grimes was 4 pounds overweight after practice. That pisses me off. Time to relax. Tuesday, January 31st, 7:55 p.m. Good focused practice overall. Middleton ran the takedown drills. Hatchett and Adams are busting their butt and pushing it hard. On the other hand, Kiwish and Cowan were doing the heavyweight waltz. Merez snapped at them to pick it up. Jeff is a great captain. Coach Baldwin thinks we might be driving them too hard. That is a bunch of bullshit. Wednesday's practice will be tough as today's was. Wednesday, February the 1st, 6:30 p.m. Seth is sick. What a downer. We will have a hard, it will be hard on us, very hard. Eddie and Ishmael are true brawlers. Tempers were a bit hot today with Easton and Merez, 2 tough guys banging. I talked with both of them after practice. They're okay. Coach Baldwin thinks we should back off some. He says, you can feel the intensity in the room. He might be right. Thursday, February the 2nd, 7:10 p.m. Seth is still sick. Not good. Elijah is also sick. We're a bit beat up and tired. Thinking about moving Kiwish to heavyweight on Saturday in the section finals. We had 8 guys come in at lunch to watch a video of us wrestling against Houston last year in the section finals to get prepared. Peter Porter is going to be key. It was a light practice today. Just drills, very little hard wrestling. Middleton wants Davidson, Beck, Sanders, and Sage suited up for Saturday. I'll have to think about that. My wife thinks she will be glad when this season is over. I'm too grumpy. This is a wonderful team, and I want them to win. Friday, February the 3rd, 6:30 p.m. Last practice before section duels. Terrible news. Seth did not get cleared by his doctor to wrestle Saturday. That really hurts us. That's a 12-point swing. The team is as ready as can be. We are beat up. Some AC's ribs are a concern with me. With all of this, we will give it our best shot. Captain Merez asked if he could speak to the team. That's what Jeff said. Guys, this is our quest. And all of this is a part of our team quest. Let's make it fun and enjoy Saturday. Baldwin must have helped Jeff with that speech. I am tired and ready for tomorrow. Thank you, guys. That's it.
One more round of applause for the 94-95 wrestling team. All right, one more round of applause for the team and for all of tonight's inductees. So before we conclude this evening, a few more thank yous we need to go out. Thank you to Cody and Tyra Drakmanovich for the catering tonight, for Andre Pape Photography for taking these amazing pictures, for David Dugan for doing the audio and video arts and everything that you could hear and see tonight. The Bret Harte Boys Golf Program, they helped out as well. And the Bret Harte Culinary Arts for the desserts and the Bret Harte FFA Floriculture Floral Arrangements. And that leads me into my final two notes tonight. The floral arrangements at each and one of your tables does us no good. So somebody at your table, please take them home. And then, of course, again, as was mentioned by my dad earlier at the start of this, if you are an inductee, please take home your postcards in the back as well. For that, do we have anything else we want to add? Thanks once again for making the 4th Hall of Fame event a success. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Be safe.